Hello everybody, well this is what I call a simple tutorial on how to use the live satellite tracking map. I've had a lot of questions on how to get the most out of it, and so I'll try and walk you through it. I'm not an expert at this, and that's a good thing because you don't have to be an expert to have a lot of fun with the tracking unit. The first thing, this is the opening page of the website, so on the top left you've got a bar that says live, it says more, it says news. You slide along there, you can just see up here where the cursor is, it's a bit hard to see, and GGR itself, so I think you all know that one. So when you come to the live section, you will see right here is a graphic of the map, so you just come straight onto that and give it a click, and very shortly you'll see the live emblem for Yellow Brick come up, and that'll self-load, and bingo, you've got the map. Now what I'm going to try and do now is just zoom in on that as best I can to frame it up so that you can sort of see what's going on. So there's my cursor, it's still downloading. Now what you see there now in the corner here is all the yachts in the race, and they've got a slight tail on them. I'll explain how that comes in and out. The first thing you can do is just click and drag your cursor, and that'll move the map to whatever you want. And up here, right there at the top, you're able to zoom in and out, so you can make the map smaller, or you can come in and you can make it a lot bigger so you can see what's going on. If it goes off the screen, you just click and drag. So at the moment you can see you've got Mark Slats over here, then you've got Jean-Luc right there coming second, you've got Uku and Ma coming third, and out the front here is Philippe Peche. Now you'll notice as soon as you put your cursor on it, you have a little box comes up, and in that box it says exactly who it is. It gives you the speed, hang on, I'll get rid of that, we're on a Chinese computer here. You click on anyone, there's Uku's boat. First of all, you've got the speed, 3.2 knots, just written in the box, you can't read that. At 185 degrees true, so he's sailing at 185 degrees course, that's a true course, at a speed of 3.2 knots. That's the average speed over the last 3 hours. It gives his position, and it tells you the time of that position. So the second line says 6th of July 2018, yep, that's the phone going, and it gives you the date and time, 900 UTC. Gives you your latitude and longitude, and it gives you the distance to the finish. Okay, so at the moment he's got 24,429 nautical miles to the finish, but that's going to be lots of twists and turns in that, so it's going to be a bit longer. And the distance travelled in the last 24 hours is actually showing 198 nautical miles. Now I know for a fact that's not correct. I'm not sure why it's showing that. There's sometimes little glitches on it. And also when they're drifting, sometimes they look as if they're heading back the other way. So now sometimes some of that data has a few glitches. It also says when you're on this one for Uku, it gives you, if I call Uku back up, it says third in all the boats. So there is a ranking, and Uku's coming third at the moment. And it allows you also to come onto the box. If I go to the bottom and click that, it says more information. If I do that, it's going to take me to his skipper profile, so you can get all sorts of extra information from that. Now to get back there to the map, I'm not sure how best to do that. So I'll do the simple way, just call up the live tracker again. I'll hit that map again, and it's just going to take me straight back. It's going to reload, so if you ever get lost, you can always go back to the beginning. Again, same thing, I can zoom in or zoom out, whatever I want to do. I want to pull it up so I get a reasonable look at the position of all the boats, okay, and go from there. Now, so again, you can call up a box of information just by putting your cursor on any boat. Over here, that's Loic Lepage, so you get lots of stuff coming up there. Now the next most interesting thing that people ask about is how you put the wind information, the weather, actually on the map. And all you do on the top here, you'll see there's a bar along the top, and there's various icons on that bar. One of them right in the middle, and when I put my cursor on it, says toggle wind data. It's a little graphic of a windsock. So when I hit that, you'll see now I've got three choices. One says no overlay, One says predict the wind and the other says windy. Now I prefer windy, that's windy TY weather. So when I hit that, if everything's working correctly, it should shortly load. Now you'll see the graphics now changed, and you've got these little moving arrows sort of thing. That's showing you your wind direction. And also there's a color, so you've got a bit of a greeny color up here, blue in here, greeny over there. And you'll see on this side the wind arrows are going up. So that means the wind in this direction is a southerly. It's going from southerly and it's heading a little bit over to the other side. Over here, the wind is coming down from a northeasterly direction. Okay, you can see the arrows continually moving. And over here, there's just a big blue spot with not many arrows. Now that actually means that there is no wind. And where you find the scale for that, you have to pull the whole screen up. I'm doing that over on the right-hand side, just coming up the screen. And now you can see on the bottom here, a series of colours, and those colours have got numbers in them. That represents the wind strength. So where it's dark blue, there's 0. So in here there is 0 wind. And where you're a little bit light blue, it's 4 knots. Then it goes to 8 knots as it's going into green. These numbers represent knots. Then 12 knots is in the greeny area. You go through to these purples and you've got 35 knots, 44 knots. And if it's a deep purpley colour, you're going to have 48 knots, 50 or more. So there are 2 bits of information once you put the wind overlay. The first one is the colour, giving you wind strength, and the second one is the direction of these little moving sort of stripes here. That gives you the direction of the wind. And you can see that directly relating to the boxes of information. If I come onto Mark's box there, you can see he's in the blue area. He's virtually got no wind, and his boat speed is 2.1 knots, and he's making a course of 185 degrees true. Now if I come over then to Jean-Luc, he's got a bit more wind, because you can see he's come out of the blue and he's gone into the greeny colour, and he's showing us boat speed of 3.4 knots going 190 because he's got more wind. And if I just pull this up a bit more and put it on Philippe Péchet, you can see he's going to have heaps more wind than even Jean-Luc. And I call up the box, yep, he's doing 4.6 knots at 195. So it's easy for us to see what's going on with the weather, but the entrance can't do that. So it's a really good way to work out what's going on when the boats are just drifting around. You can see when you put the weather overlay, they've probably got no wind. Uku there, he's doing pretty well, 3.2 knots. The wind's on his starboard quarter, so it'll be nice sailing. And the next most interesting thing, I think it's pretty clear about wind direction and strength. Windy TY allows you to call up a heck of a lot of different information. So again, if I now come back, I'll bring it back up here. And remember, I'm not an expert at this, but at the bottom of the wind scale, there's this little triangle here, this little black triangle. When I hit that, it gives me more subheadings. Now currently I'm on wind, which is the first one, but I can call up temperature, I can call up air pressure, the clouds, whether it's cloudy or sunny, I can call up the currents in the ocean, and I can call up the wave height. And to give you an idea, I'll hit wave height now, right? So when I hit wave height, it reloads itself. And once again, you can see these little moving arrows going this way. That's the direction of the waves. So the waves are coming from the northwest. And down the bottom again, you have a coloured scale. And this is a representation in metres. So we are now in this middle colour scale, which means they're probably experiencing about 1 metre seas. This will get really dramatic in the Southern Ocean, and it's a really good thing to remember because people always wonder what's going on, and you'll see some incredible wave heights. You know, they'll be having 10-metre waves, and you'll see how the wave height matches in with the actual swell. With the actual wind and so on. Remembering that I can zoom in and out, so just holding that there, I'll zoom this right out now to make it a big map. And it's pretty, there's nothing there. Oh, okay, you can see there's obviously a big purple patch here. That's 6-metre waves, okay, over the side here. Now, to show you, if I go back to wind, if you watch this area now with wind, you can be guaranteed there'll be some sort of a wind thing happening. Okay, so yeah, there's a fair bit of wind there. It's gone into the yellow, and you can see how it's going around a pressure system there. So just coming back now, I'll go back to wave height again, and you can see how the wave height represents the wind. So now I'll zoom back into our boats to give you an idea, and I'll click to the next one. If we go to currents, all right, it's pretty bland here, but again, it's maybe a bit fine to see on the screen, but you've got areas of different direction, like the little arrows are going in different direction, and you've got the speed of the currents in knots, and again in a coloured scale at the bottom down here. So when I blow that up, if I blew that up a lot, I'd be able to put currents in there if I wanted to. I can have wind, and if I want to go to clouds, I can hit that, and you can see here again there's a colour percentage thing, but you can see there's clouds over here, right, in that area, but there's no clouds. So they've got sunny conditions at the moment. There's got no clouds on them. But the one that most people enter is simply the wind. So I'll just click it back to the wind, and I can shrink that box again just by doing that. Now the next thing that's of interest is that I can look at the wind. At the moment it's real time, live, on today's date and time, because it says that it's the 6th of July 2018 at 1200 hours UTC. If I want to get a forecast, I can click this little button here and move it forward, and I'll move it forward to 4 o'clock in the morning. So it's 4 o'clock UTC on the 8th of July. So in a couple of days time, you can see what happens to the wind. All of a sudden it's going to be blasting down from the north with that colour green. If I look down here, that's 15 to 20 knots. So in a couple of days in this area where the yachts have now playing around with basically zero wind, there's going to be 20 knots from the north, and they would be doing 7 and 8 knots, probably boring downwind with spinnakers up and all the rest of it. So I can keep going forward. That's the 9th of July at 4 o'clock in the morning. So you can dial up any wind going forward wherever you want. It just doesn't matter, you can do it. Now that's really handy for trying to predict what's going to happen to the sailors, as time goes forward. So that I've pulled it back to real-time live, so that's 6th of July at 1200 UTC again, that's the wind. So that's a very valuable feature. You can start to determine what, if we look at Philippe Péchet now, who's leading the fleet just in here, okay, he's got a building wind now, but let's say we come forward 12 hours, so that'll be 2400. So we get it to there near enough. Okay. All of a sudden, within the next 12 hours, the entire fleet on this corner here is going to have wind, and you'll see them all picking up, unless they're right inshore. Okay, if they're stuck inshore there's no wind right in on the coast. So you're going to see speeds increasing for the fleet very quickly now, and they'll all start heading towards the Canaries. So I'll just get rid of this, and I'll scale it. I'll just move the fleet down here, scale it up a bit, so I'm making it bigger so we can see some of the boats. I'll give you a couple other features. There is another one up here on this top toggle bar, and it says toggle map type. So when I hit that, you've got 4 different options. One's hybrid, the other's road map, the other's satellite, and the other's navionics. Now if I go to road map, you watch what happens. All of a sudden the land is showing you a road map. We don't want that, we're on the water. So then I can go satellite, and you've actually got the typical Google Earth satellite image that you could zoom in on, and you could notice that Ertram, who's just recently retired, is now at the marina. You can actually see him in the marina. And if I go navionics, you're now getting into navigation charts. So this is exactly what sailors would normally navigate by. And if we start to zoom in on that, you'll see more and more data coming up. I'll just drag this back to the beach. This is what sailors are used to navigating by. So you can zoom right into that, and you could actually see them moving around rocks and reefs and so on. So you've got a few different options there on your overlays, and that's toggle map type. So usually we'll just go back to the satellite image, and it comes up when we zoom down here. Oh, in actual fact, I'll go back to hybrid maybe. Let's see, that's our hybrid one. It shows you a bit of the underwater topographical situation. Another interesting one you can do, if I scale this back, we're a long way from being day-night, but there is another one here. It says toggle day-night. So if I hit that, toggle day-night, and we can't see it yet because there's nothing there, but we've still got daylight. Hang on, I'll look for the night time here. Where's the night time? Whoop. crazy. Just, well, in fact, what I'll do, I'll zoom right out and you'll see when night time's coming. Now, here it comes. So you can see now, if I bring this over, you can see the nighttime band there. So later on, as night time's coming, you'll see that the daylight's gone across and the night will start to follow over. And so you can tell if they're in twilight or whatever. I mean, it's a bit obscure, but it's good to know that it's there. And you can do that. So that's toggle day night. So I've now turned it off. The night's disappeared, and we can go back to our normal view. I'll just bring that back up again, remembering I'm not an expert on any of this. The thing is, you can't do anything wrong. So if you're a bit confused, just start playing around with it, and you'll find that there's some really cool features. So the other one is the toggle points of interest. We don't do that. The tails here. Okay, I've just called up the snail trails from all the boats there. There's a little one there says toggle course, toggle, where are we? Here we go, the second one there. Toggle tracks onto long tails, short tails, and so on. And now I can highlight their entire track. So when they've gone all the way around the world, you could actually open that to show their entire course around the world. So that's another one of interest. Now, if I go down to the bottom here, you can see this bar here. This one's a bit of fun. First of all, I'll get the tracks back, the little one. This little bar here is actually a timeline. Now, you're seeing real-time live on this at the moment for all the entrants, okay? But you'll see a little button here. It says toggle extra playback buttons. So if I hit that twice, okay, then you'll see above it another scale comes up. And that's the speed of the playback, because I'm going to show you a video recording of the boat speeds and what's happened to them over the last 3 days. If I slide that along so it's reasonably fast, and then I hit the play button, which is underneath it there. As I said, I'm not an expert on this. Where do we go here? Okay, so I slide that up to get it fast. Then I hit, nope, it's not that one. Nope, hang on. I got to do the rewind, that's right. At the moment it's real-time live. So I've got to pull this right back. That's the bottom bar that's there now. Then I hit that toggle button at the top and work out, I don't know whether you can see this, I'll work out how fast I want the replay. So I'll put it back pretty fast. I'll just make it a little bit smaller, but here comes the boat. See the boat sailing along there? You can actually see what's happening, and it's showing you the time. There's a timeline. So 3rd of July, 1500, 1600, 1700, and you can watch them going in all sorts of different directions. You can slow the speed down on this so that it's slow enough to work out tactically what's happening. They all ran into the headwinds, and Nabil goes to sleep and he starts going the wrong way. Susie went out on a bit of a blinder one side and started to lose to Loic, and then they slowly come down, and you can follow the whole thing in graphic action. I'll make that, I'll do a few things here. I'll increase the size here. I'll slow it down a bit. So I'm just sliding the speed down a bit. Then you've got to get this button at the bottom and slide it back for the replay. You can see me sliding it back there. And now when I hit play, okay, so I hit that play button, it's going to happen a lot slower. Should be happening. Where is it? That's not moving, so let's put it up here a bit. Okay, now you can, it's still a bit slow. Okay, still a bit slow, but you can see them there. I've got control of the speed, and it's quite interesting to see what's going on. So you can play around with that playback feature. So you've got the ability to put weather overlays. You can look at weather forecasting forward. You've got a replay to see, Captain Coconut made a big mistake going down here. So did Isfan. I've got a feeling Isfan might have motored here. He's going dead straight forward into the wind. It's quite legal to motor. I may be wrong, but he didn't look like he was tacking into the breeze there. I think he just had enough and had to get out, and he may have motored. I know Captain Coconut has just been wearing it and struggling to get out. May be wrong. It's a bit hard to say. So that's a nice feature there as well. Now, coming over to the side here, this board here, first of all, you may see the side of the frame and it looks like that. You don't think anything is there over here where the cursor is. But if you hit the top one that says teams, the first thing that pops out is all of the boats. It's got their national flag there, and it's got the colour of their boat. So you can actually see without putting the cursor over it to call up the information box, you can see which boat is which. Now the next thing you can do at the bottom here is the leaderboard. So you hit that and bingo, up pops all the rankings of all the boats. And I can just scroll down on those to see all 17 boats or 16 boats now. And if I go back to the beginning, okay, at the moment it says that Philippe Péchet is the lead boat. It says his start time, 1st of July over here. So his start time was 1st of July. He's travelled a total distance of 513 miles. VMG, that's distance made good to the finish line, is 216 nautical miles because they've got to go around the corner. Average speed is 4.9 knots. No, that's not average speed. That's his speed at the moment. Estimated finish time. This is kind of funny because they're basing it on the average speed so far. No, it's not. It's based on the speed that he's making at the moment. So it looks like he's making 4.9 knots, which would suggest he could finish on the 31st of January next year. Now that's highly unlikely because he's got to turn a lot of corners yet and things, get weather and all those sorts of things. So corrected time at his current average speed his current speed of 4.9 knots is 213 days, 18 hours and 59 minutes. Now these calculations are usually done for much shorter races. This is the longest race that Yellow Brick's done like this, and it's not quite correct, but it's still fun information to have. Jean-Luc Van den Heede is showing as second in the rankings. Uku Rendemar is third, and so on. So there's a lot of cool information that you can call there. If you want to get rid of it, you just hit the leaderboard one here. Okay, in the middle, I hit that, it disappears. And remembering, I usually have this one out the side here, you can get all of the boats. And at any time, if you click on this, if you click on Antoine, for instance, this is in alphabetical order, you will highlight his boat. So you can see there straight away, Antoine's boat, I hit that and it's highlighted his boat. So you can also always see where it is. If I want to go to R. Wigg's boat, I just hit that, and R. Wigg's boat over here has now got a highlight around it. So if you're ever looking for their boat, Mark Slats, bingo, there it is there. So you can call up a boat just by looking at that one there. Another common thing to want to know, and if this works right, it'll be pretty cool, but sometimes, with software and things, what's happening. On the top here, it's got one that says toggle ruler. And so I'll put my cursor on toggle ruler. I hit that once and it says click on the map to place the first point. So if I want to click on it besides Mark Slats, I go bingo there. You'll see the little icons now come up. And I want to see how far away he is from Susie. So I go over to Susie here. If I click on that, bingo, what you've got now is a line joining the two dots between Mark's boat and Susie's boat. And it shows up in the box here that it's approximately 36.3 nautical miles distance, and the initial bearing from Mark to Susie is 39 degrees, and a back bearing is 220 degrees. So from Susie to Mark is about 220 degrees. Now that can be quite a fun thing to do later on when things are happening. You can see, how far behind is Philippe Péchet from Jean-Luc Van den Heede when he gets in the lead. At the moment, Philippe's in the lead, so you can work out how far behind Jean-Luc is from Philippe. So that one's another cool one to do. Okay, so I think we're covering off on a lot of things here. Zoom. Now there's features up here that says zoom options, which aren't really so, oops, daisy, what's this saying? Your update is ready. Restart now, remind me later. This is a new computer. Anyway, you can, it's the zoom options at the top. Besides the graphic zoom in scale, you use that all the time to scale in or scale out. You can see I'm coming right in here to see along the coast. The other ones next to it aren't so relevant. It's more for racing around the buoys. It says zoom into the race area. You wouldn't really use that. Zoom to manual area, same again. So there's a few things up here that you don't use. You don't need to play with that. But if you do, it doesn't matter. You're not going to upset anything. And I always say to everyone, if you want to play around with this, do it now, because if you're keen, you're going to be looking at this map for the next 9 months. And no point in finding out and discovering all the features later on. Get into it and have some fun now. So you can't do anything wrong if you go out somewhere silly. Then just go back to the beginning and click on live again and go from there. So now I want to show you another cool one, which is over on the side over here. You might think there's nothing there, but if you look right on the edge of the screen, it says social media. So you hit on that and bingo, out pops all the tweets. So these are people that are tweeting about the race. And I think even the GGR entrant tweets come up here, but here's one from Odell 33 minutes ago, and it says, "Go Susie Goodall, I support you all the way from Nigeria." And the next one underneath it is from Plastimo. It says 16 concurrent, so it's in French. Suis là, sécurité Plastimo, comment at Plastimo. I don't speak much French. But anyway, and then ET Defense, that's probably in France, because it's all about Tommy. And you can scroll down and you can read all the comments. Shane Hurdley, my thoughts are with you. I'm just following from my armchair and I'm feeling how hard that must be. Vendi Voilier, safe journey home to Istanbul. Okay, and there's a heap of them. Talking about Ertram, that's a real pity. Skipper was looking forward to the entire team completing. One can imagine how, and it goes on, Belinda. So there's lots of interesting tweets there from all around the world, all following the race, and hopefully they're getting the most out of the map, because that's what this is about. So I can just decrease that again, pop it out of the way, and go from there. Another very important one that you might not be able to see yet, because it's got a live recorder over here. Top right-hand corner is a couple of our partners, which is pretty cool, Ralph Tech, and there's a few of them scrolling over. I think that's about it. So I hope you can enjoy this and get the most out of it. Just remember, you can't do anything wrong to this map. So get on there, have a good play, and you'll see exactly what's going on. Now, just as a final one, I'll pull it out all the way to the Canaries, which is where they're heading, and I'll put the wind overlay. I just hit the windsock there, and you'll see what's happening down south. There's a lot of wind down here. So this is the Grand Canary. That's where they're going, and it's predicting, if I go forward now, they're going to be there around, say, about the 12th or the 13th. You watch what happens. Oh, it's got a bit more steady. Okay, they were forecasting a lot more wind. But anyway, you can see, okay, let's just sneak forward a few days. Once they get into this band, it looks like they're going to have a really good run for the next few days. So that's tomorrow, 7th, that's the 8th. Okay, again, there's a nice following breeze. These are pretty much trade winds going down. Let's go through to the 9th. The breeze is still there. They're going to hook into this roller coaster, and it's holding all the way through. The 10th, the wind is just holding there. Okay, so let's go through to the 13th, 14th when they arrive. Plenty of wind. That's up to 25 knots there. So what that's going to mean is Philippe Peche is already on the way to getting into that high wind flow. He'll be the first one in. He'll get a break, and then the next ones, the first boats that get into this, they're going to clear out from the rest, and you'll see the first gap opening up. So that's probably it. I'll sign off from here, and if you've got any questions, don't ask me. Get on the screen and play with the map. You can't do anything wrong, and it's a lot of fun. So enjoy the tracking, and I'll tell you a bit more about some of the other features on the website later. Thanks.